I'm going to introduce the rest of the panel.
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? To stand before you today, my name is Francis Syrian, and professionally, I am a biochemist. I'm a trained. I graduated in 2021. That is at University of Nairobi. But I am in the blockchain space full time. Probably when we interact, we're going to talk about how my transition was. It's been this is my second year in the blockchain, and all I can say, I'm happy to be here. So I will introduce my panelists, and our panel topic is cracking the code, which is basically we're going to be demystifying the metaverse, about what is Web3, and just a little bit of what exactly is artificial intelligence. And with me today, I have an amazing panelists, one of which I'm happy about is Mr. Consol, who we were actually discussing at the first African Metaverse Summit. Mr. Consol, please welcome him. Another panelist I have is Getha Marvin. Getha is a device manager and a cloud data and AI at the panel. Can we give some of that? My other panelist, I'm not sure if she's here. Her name is Lorna. Okay. Hi, Lorna. Lorna is a creative director and extended reality expert at Wild Vision. Is she here? Okay, cool. I'll get you started. All right, so thank you so much for showing up. I feel like I'm giving you, I'm facing, you know, towards positions. Cool. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to get started. And this is just a panel to really help you understand the opportunities that are there in Metaverse and also how exactly we want to monetize, because Mr. Paul has mentioned and I say that the first thing when you think about the Metaverse is an opportunity to make money. And that's why we're here today. We want to be at the front line and we want to be the first people out there. So I'll let my panelists introduce themselves. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mari. I'm passionate about especially something called signal processing and computer vision. And I'm also very passionate about community and how communities can be able to influence things we are building. As a community, I work for society.
Good morning, everyone. I know you guys know me as the lucky guy. I feel super lucky. But my name is Job or Mr. Console. I call Mr. Console because I work in Web3 gaming, which is going to be a very important topic to talk about when we discuss the metaverse. Because as Lee well described the metaverse, it's a virtual world, 3D world, and we've been experiencing through games this 3D world. So that will be my contribution to the topic. We're looking good today, guys.
All right, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. So there are a couple of technologies. I would like to see the like constellation of technologies that really make like this modern, ecosystem, and even it's changing how the financial and how we interact with money. And some of those technologies are AI, the metaverse, and also the Web3 ecosystem. I know you have been a key role there as a key opinion leader in the ecosystem. How is the metaverse? How are you able to like monetize whatever that your contribution to the blockchain? Can you take us through the process of like how you're able to bring yourself up. And now that you're Mr. Console, and now we want you to give us like your expertise.
So we've already described the metaverse as this 3D world, right? And I want you to actually realize that currently, as we're sitting here, there's also a virtual reality of this very room. And when she asks that question, it puts me a bit in a corner because the opportunities are unlimited, literally. When you think about this world, it's fixed, it's finite. If I want to trade with China, I have to go through trade laws, so on and so forth. But in a virtual ecosystem, we defy gravity, we defy boundaries, and we're connected at the snap of a finger. What has really taken off currently is virtual land. That's a good example to give the Kenyan audience because it's a must. If you're a man in the African community for you to own land. Right? But what about virtual land? What about buying real estate in the sandbox or having your own space on spatial, so on and so forth? What about hosting events and making yourself a name and charging people to come to virtual events? And this time you're not limited to those who can make it, those who are around your vicinity, so on and so forth. You can have individuals join from China, Brazil, and concentrate this audience in a virtual world, experiencing immersively what it is the event is about. So I want you all to actually just open your minds, be very open to learn, because the metaverse, as my good friend has already put it, is and young, and some of the opportunities to monetize will be innovated by some of you in this room.
Thank you so much for that console. So, and Marvin, you mentioned that you are actually very passionate about, communities. You see, in the Web3 space or like in the blockchain space, it is more like community-driven ecosystem, right? And could you just really describe how business or like examples of how AI powered like virtual assistants and chatbots like are already like improving like engagements within the community, like customer experience? How is AI really playing a role when it comes to the community?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. Today you have a virtual assistant which can talk and they can hear me. All right, today you have a virtual assistant that you can talk to. And then when you talk to them, they can give you instant feedback. Let's say you want to ask a question for your company or something. Yeah, you understand the question you're asking, and then they give you instant feedback. Also, if you combine AI together with Metaverse, you can also be able to have an assistant that helps you to probably discover new products, like the new blog that fits your requirements, depending on your behavior, your consumer behavior, the kind of things you're buying. And then it can give you recommendations on those kind of products. So there are recommendation systems that you can have that combine both AI and Metaverse. There are also instant customer support that you're using both AI. So that's two examples.
Do you want to add something?
I'll talk a little bit about community, which you also mentioned. When we talk about the metaverse, we're also speaking about Web3. And Web3 is the new iteration of the internet. Let me break that down for you. We started with the internet being no different to what you're seeing on the screen. Just basically a presentation, like a newspaper. Then with the advent of Facebook around 2007, you could now interact with the internet. You could log in, you could key in data, and that would change what appears on your screen. And the keyword being data, because where does all your data go? You use TikTok almost 3 hours a day, and what happens? The they monetize off you. Right? And so we are entering this world which has no middleman. The power has been placed in your hand. And that is very important for you guys to know because in as much as that's a blessing, it's also extremely scary. And personally, my day-to-day job is marketing in the Web3 space. I work for a game company that's based in Dubai. And we're no longer approaching marketing from the traditional sense of just trying to harness data and bombard with ads. Rather, empowering the community, showing them how our ecosystem is friendly and why they should partake. The most important marketing strategy in Web3 is to actually care for your people. It's not about the end state. And there are a lot of job opportunities for you to be a community manager, for you to be a moderator, and really for you to just empower individuals in this ecosystem to not only use your product, but to be part of your team as an extension of your product.
Thank you so much. I think what I also want to add is this. Most people really confuse what Web3 is. They confuse the AI, and someone also in the ground confuse what the Metaverse is. You see, we're in the fourth industrial revolution, right? That means we've gone through other revolutions, and it's actually the finance industry that's actually changing the world and actually leading us, guys. And in this fourth revolution that we're in, we are talking about blockchain as a technology that is actually enabling us build the future version of the internet. And which is this future version of the internet? It is the Web3. So Web3 is actually a bigger ecosystem than the blockchain. But I also wanted you to understand that the opportunities in the Web3 ecosystem are also vast. There's so many, and this, as someone I mentioned, there's no university I know in the world, just a few of them have really incorporated blockchain or like understanding the new and emerging technologies in their curriculum. And we hope to see more universities get into that space. But you see, what's important is we currently have YouTube, right, where people are taking their time to record a couple of courses, a couple of 1, 2, and 3 out there, just to teach you what is happening, and you could actually take advantage of that. And now, when it comes to the Web3 ecosystem, we talk about several topics. Now, that's when you talk about blockchain, you're not talking about AI, you're not talking about semantic webs, and several other topics are there. So, for us to be in this summit, it's just a section, and this section is just now the metaverse that we are focusing on. And now the AI, but we can never talk about those technologies without really talking about other technologies like blockchain, like underlying. So we also have other things like NFTs, right? I would like to get you from Console again. How do NFTs like really are able? How do businesses? Because there are people who business. We have business people here, and we also have people who want to build or like enable businesses to be able to use NFTs. And how is that relevant over in the metaverse?
Right. How many know what an NFT is? Just by show of hands. Right? Okay. That's a pretty good number. So what an NFT means is a non-fungible token. And prior to that, if I had a digital item, be it a picture, be it skins, so on and so forth, they would have this unique ID code that has been imprinted on the blockchain. And we know the blockchain should be a public open ledger. Right? And when you think about it in that same light, why do I need, for example, to have the land office somewhere in Kiambu County give me a document which they can duplicate, right? So NFTs really help you avoid that fraud. Because if I have, for example, and I'm sure you guys are part of this connection because it's the most popular. If I have BAYC hashtag 200, only I have it, or rather that wallet address had that unique item. And of course, people can copy and paste the image, the NFT, the picture, but the underlying ID of that image is only one, and it will only ever be one. So for artists, how many are artists in the room? Right? If you're selling images, you don't need people duplicating your art. You can utilize NFT technology to actually grant true ownership. Ownership being the key one here, to the end user. And I think that can be applied in so many use cases. For example, I'm seeing some of you guys that dress extremely well, like this gentleman up here, right? And we spoke about avatars, about characters. That by itself can be a unique look with a special ID on the blockchain that nobody can ever take away from you. And I think that is very crucial to know.
Thank you so much. So, Marvin, we have students here, and these are people who are living in like in the modern world where tech is moving so fast. It's really a fast-paced industry. What are these opportunities that, from where you are, you can take to a student and say, hey, this is actually a trajectory that you can follow to get yourself involved in this emerging technology, specifically, particularly AI. What are the opportunities that you see?
I mean, the opportunities that you can get into. There's someone called, I think he's a professor at Stanford University. He's saying that AI is the new electricity. The same way you're using electricity today, almost every single business will use electricity that way. And that means that every single business that you see, they'll probably use AI to be ahead of other people. So every single thing you can think about is really talking about marketing. And the range of companies who have tried to use AI in marketing to a point where they can be able to know how the consumer behavior, what you're doing, the kind of things you like. And in fact, they were saying that today we just have a blank marketing somewhere, just have posters somewhere. But not everyone reacts to these posters the same way. And in some advertisement, we just use something called demographic information to do the advertisement. But what if you can go beyond that and get even more information, like how someone behaves, what are the practices, and then, of course, using it responsibly, try to find ways to target them. Some advertisement is just one of them. So there's advertisements, and if you are a telco, there are a lot of things you can do in a telco as well. Can you understand why your customers, for example, actually, why are they selling us from your company? If you're in security, you can probably have a AI system, maybe an automation system that understands what's happening in the environment. How many people are in this room? Do we have to have someone counting everyone from that side to this side? Or can we just have a camera somewhere that once somewhere you can know how many people are in this room, what's happening there? Is there a unique activity happening there? People doing what they're supposed to do. So you could think that the thing that AI is going to be something that behaves like a human being, something that can read the environment and know what's happening in the environment, and understand that thing that's happening. So first of all, you read, you understand, and then you act on what's happening, but not act alone, but also you adapt to what's happening in the environment. So any single thing that can take data as an input and process it to get an output, you can be able to probably have AI in it. But of course, you need to, I mean, there are use cases, but you still need to know if the name use cases can work on it or can work on it. You don't have to throw like all the problems together and say, okay, now we are a tech company, we're going to do this thing, even if AI doesn't make sense to it. But the same way Android 10 says that AI is an electricity, almost every single business that you can think about, maybe there's some efficiency or an new way of doing things that you can bring into that thing using AI.
Thank you so much. I also just really to add on that these opportunities are you can as well easily identify them because as you can see, AI is not something that is new. It's something that was since 1943. And we have been using it. It's just like the big booms and booms and this is just one of the boom of the AI. And as it grows, it's improving and improving. So also the opportunity that someone could just look at it is being able to not just learning by yourself or doing research by yourself, but being able to join a community. Okay, when you join a community, that these are people who you share the same goals, the same vision. It helps you to even learn better, and through that, they can plug you through, AI events or Metaverse events or even Web3 events, and just by that you belong, and then you get to be really expert on what is happening in the ecosystem. And through that, you get to learn what people are doing as well. Because events actually is one thing that has actually made me way here. Because through events, you learn a lot, and it's easier for you to really relate with people and get to learn things about other people enjoy. So I encourage everyone to always attend events and make sure that you just don't get there as a attendee or no, but at least make sure that you always um, have something to contribute or have something or like a value to contribute into it. In that way, you hunt for opportunities at the same time you grow as a person. So, so what are these opportunities that you see? I know it's not like marketing wasn't your background, but you actually find yourself in there. But what are the opportunities do you see, and how can you help someone here today get started in a space where you are?
Right. And let me just add on that previous topic before I answer the question. A lot of people fear AI because AI is going to take all of our jobs, and such articles put you in such a frenzy. But it's the people who utilize AI that will take your jobs hands down. Consider yourselves lucky to be here at the right time, where this conversation is really an open. It's for you to then go further and indulge in research and really grasp these concepts. Like Faizan said, my background is not in marketing at all. I was at USIU, literally just across the road, and I did economics, right? I even say that and I laugh because I wonder what I was doing in those classes. But I started being curious about the future because we can't do things the way things have been done. And now we're entering an age of the digital realm of internet, and its penetration rate is so high. And I found a job almost naturally. I made beats, that's what I do as a hobby. And eventually some guy was just like, hey man, I like how you do your thing. Come work for me. And that's how it starts. But it all starts with you being active, like she said. The opportunities are almost endless. Money from VCs are flowing towards tech companies, especially during the COVID year when nobody could go out, when real estate was in contraction, everything was somewhat closing down. There was this opportunity for tech to really take off. And that has led to a lot of jobs being created on a developer front, on teaching people how to use this new technology, on community building. And you guys might not actually consider this something real, but if you enter Discord, how many know Discord? You can get paid up to 60 G's in Kenya shillings just to answer questions, just simply being a moderator per month. I'm telling you, but for you to get 60 G's from the government, bro, that's going to be quite hard. So the opportunities are expanding. I'm seeing VC interest, that being money, flowing into this space like she said, this is another boom in AI, in Web3, in data consolidation, and in utilizing the blockchain. I don't know how many of you follow the news, but Bitcoin is going to have an ETF. The is there. It's just the legal framework that is yet to catch up. And once it does, you better not be late because that opportunity just hits you once. And you're in the right room at the right time. I say that again.
All right, thank you so much. So at this point, I would just like to take questions from our audience, and then we can have another answer to this, because time is not on our side. Do we have anyone who has a question? Yes. So you can address to any of our panelists.
But I won't give you back.
So,
Hi, everyone. Sound? Let me just take a minute. Okay, so my name is Samson. Yeah, I am the founder and chair of the Change Robotics Club, also GSC and Change Robotics Strategy. And my question is just general. I get a lot of questions and personally as well. How to maybe integrate the metaverse and AI itself with like the edge devices that is the IoT device. Just a use case. These boards, some of these boards that we're using here, even they don't really have a lot of RAM, say. And now I want to create a device that maps out, I put a device here, it maps out the whole room. That's creating some form of virtual room. But the boards or maybe the infrastructure that is there doesn't necessarily have that kind of power. That's the first question. And the second one on AI is how exactly maybe to utilize AI to its fullest to allow some of these devices to obtain their full potential. I hope you
Yes, the question is on me. Okay, so on the first one, and I'll be focusing more on devices because I'm a specialist in metaverse. So I know you can train your model in the cloud and you have some accuracy and then deploy it in the cloud or on-prem. But you also have IT devices, case in point the camera I was talking about, where you want to have a verify or you want to deploy your model that's just verify. And you have a model probably whose size is bigger than even the memory, I mean the space where you need to put it on the database. So probably how then are you going to have this model be deployed on the database? Because again, you may not want to wait for a long time before you even make a decision. Let's say you have robots, because he's talking about robotics. Let's say you have a robot that's moving in this room and is able to detect things that need to be cleaned. And then imagine if the robot needs to go online to check if, to make something called inference, or to understand if it needs to clean that thing, then they have feedback. They need to go back to the robot. It will take a lot of time. There's a lot of latency between taking a video or an image, uploading it to getting inference, and having inference come back all the way to the database. And therefore, probably there's a way in which you can have a model that runs on these devices instead of having the model to the cloud. And of course, when you're building a model, the different frameworks that you can use. One of them that I can talk about is something called TensorFlow. And TensorFlow gives you a chance to be able to do a trade-off between the accuracy of your model, the accuracy of your predictions, and the size of the model. That doesn't want to give that much, but you can be able to convert that model from just a TensorFlow model into something called a TensorFlow model. A TensorFlow model allows you to do deployment on the database on the edge. So, of course, there are a range of ways you can do deployment. You can use TensorFlow Serve to deploy on-prem or cloud, but TensorFlow give you a chance to do a trade-off between accuracy in the sense of the model, then deploy it on the database. Of course, that will won't use that much. Maybe if it was 96, you can go to 90 or 87. But still, you can do the job, but now on the database without the latency. Yeah.
Yeah, let me also add to that. And that is actually a real problem that's currently in the space. When you want to access the metaverse, typically your character is a character made for you by a company called Ready Player Me. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Have you? You've heard of it. And what you've mentioned is actually something I've not seen. If we were to replicate this room, it would basically just be a design of this room, but not with the people in this room. I've seen companies that use what he was talking about, photogenics, to do very high level scans so that it can duplicate you in the metaverse. And that hardware is so expensive, it's not accessible. In fact, one thing that's holding back the metaverse is hardware penetration. Like my good friend mentioned that your phone gets super hot, like hot, you can burn an egg on it when you try to access the metaverse, right? It's not like going on the internet and so on and so forth. So whenever you have such problems, I want you guys to start thinking from the standpoint of being a founder, because you're already a founder, rather than, oh, where's the solution? Ask yourself, how can I build that solution? And like I did say earlier, I work in gaming. I don't know how many have heard of Facebook and their Meta project. How many have? By a show of hands. Did you guys see what they created? After 21 billion spent, they really just came up with a picture of Mark Zuckerberg looking like this and an Eiffel Tower at the back. But now with Unity, the game engine that makes games, you see the gaming industry has already been super advanced in making characters, in the mechanics of how characters interact with objects, and that is soon going to be implemented in the metaverse. We already see games such as Fortnite, so on and so forth, creating an ecosystem for other game developers to utilize that which they've already built. It's known as user-generated content. One thing to also note, when we talk about the metaverse, we're not talking about this one big lump sum of virtual world, right? There are going to be very many different companies coming with different metaverses, and of course, amongst themselves, they're going to work towards making them interoperable. I hope that answers
Um,
Yeah, I just wanted to add something very important now that we're talking about AI and metaverse, and that is as we build these models or to deploy these models, but the question was on deployment, then we also need to think about responsible metaverse and also responsible AI. Because in marketing, for example, there's a presentation that someone called from madmen to madsmen, where instead of just taking demographical information about you, like taking information like age, where you school, and all that, people can take some very personal information about you and even understand psychographical information about you, and even behavioral information about you, and be able to design marketing, design ads that take it in a particular way. So all of us need to be involved in community. All of us need to, in some way, push our governments, push companies to ensure that there is some data protection rules and laws that ensure that, first of all, we understand what this data is being used for if they're collecting it. And then secondly, we also have consent to say that I don't want my data to be used in this, or don't give me this kind of content. And also probably also other ethical sides of all these things, from bias or when you're using these models, so when you're using the metaverse, if you go to the metaverse, for example, and you can't do something because of your color or who you are, or I mean, all those ethical issues, all of us need to be involved and ensure that we have rules and all of people are trained and they understand what these things are and how they're using it. That they have a chance to say, no, I don't want that to be used especially that way.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's also a responsibility for each and every one to be able to use technologies, right? Points. I'll take one last question. You had a question?
Okay, so my name is Ian. Okay, my name is Ian. I'm a medical student of Kenya. So my question we created Metaverse say in the village. So one way it works to be ratio security because sort of Web3 is decentralized in such that we don't have any communities in Metaverse. So let's say if we have bad actors, let's say we created this one whereby we have met, let's say, a meeting like this. And the people maybe the expectation, like, let's say bad actors measures. Like how do we curb that issue? And like how, especially if it's decentralized, there's no government moving, how do we curb it?
All right. And let me ask you a return question. Would you like a governing body governing Web3?
Who do you go to if someone wrongs you? That's my big question.
Yeah, I understand your question, but would you like an overarching power in Web3? That's my return question.
No, not exactly, but at least there should be rules in place in terms of maybe policies that how will they be implemented if we do not have some options?
All right. You know, that question is actually a very important question. And to anybody who's involved in trading, currently you can see the prices of Bitcoin, Solana, so on and so forth, shooting up because the SEC, which stands for the Security Exchange Commission, dropped their charges against trading. Right? And as I said, my background is actually in economics. There was this guy who's considered the father of economics called Adam Smith. And Adam Smith spoke about the invisible arm, that being the market will govern itself. I believe we need to deregulate everything. The role of the government should really, in my opinion, be property rights and national border concerns. But when we have these actors who like they are our saviors, all they really do is A, cause a barrier of entry to new starters, and B, create monopolies amongst themselves. We have, as I said, various metaverses. We have Decentraland, we have Sandbox, we have Spatial, and those are the few that come to mind at the moment. So these are different companies that offer the virtual world experience. And due to the fact that they're a company with the profit motive, they have company policies. And that's an issue that is very well spoken about. It's like the taboo topic in crypto. Because the whole reason as to why we're moving to crypto is to avoid a government that manipulates the dollar when they want, they print more when they want, so on and so forth. But each company, just like ACA, I can't come here and smoke weed. It's their company policy. It's not something they have to be told by the government of Kenya to implement and to make it a hard stop. If I go to school, which I guess I'm an alumni of, they also have their own policies. And it could be upon us to empower the users to actually know what they want, how they want, what they want, and to explore whichever metaverse they personally feel free and safe in. But my standpoint is, the invisible arm always corrects itself. If there's any scammer or bad actor, Eventually, the community point them out, and they get somewhat ostracized, pushed to the side. I'm not really for the government use case stepping in here because their rules really have done nothing but create inefficiencies and to also just stifle growth, especially when it comes to technology.
I think that all the things were just itself. But at the way we just itself, is there a cost to the sentence? As something, are we going, as something going to suffer in the process before it adjusts itself? It's in point. I know you talk about the metaverse, but it's for example, and today I collect all the data, then I understand the kind of things I mean, how you behave, your psychographics and all that thing, and then I start targeting all of you in adverts, and you don't have a say on how I use the data, and on if I need to delete it, and all that. There's no policy at all. Because they believe that at the end of it, at some point, it will self-adjust itself. Yeah.
No, actually, that is why we're in Web3. Currently in Web2, if I Google fast cars and I open the next web page, it's nothing but fast cars, right? Like that's the targeting. And it's right so because they're already using AI. We call it algorithms. But in Web3, that data has already been decentralized. There's no one key custodian of the data. There's no one key point of the data. And that's not the data. If you want to access, for example, such a website and ask them for your information, they'll make you pay. For example, Zilli. I don't know if anybody knows Zilli, but it's this community platform. If you want to access data on your own community, you're gonna give them around 600 Gs for a 3-month membership. But with the blockchain, the data automatically from interaction goes on the public ledger. Anybody who wants to access will access, and nobody has that one power to manipulate that data.
So due to time, we're just going to close that. But I just want us to like be right back, make a party shirt, but also just to let you know, what is happening currently is that innovation is going way ahead of regulation. So it's always innovation first, and now the regulation policies come later when now people get to understand how actually this whole ecosystem works. So it's where we are going at, and it takes you and I to be able to contribute and say, hey, this is actually how I think it should work, and this is not how I think it should work. So our panelists are still going to be here, so please meet them and ask them any other questions that you wanted to ask them. But at this point, I'd like them to give a parting shot so we can close it.
And you want me to speak fast that I don't So all this technology is amazing. Metaverse to TNL algorithms, and the good things that are going to come out of it. But as we look at the good things, also need to look on the other side as well. Ensure that all of us who are going to be users of it understand all the negative aspects of it. And not just understand it alone, but also have a chance to say, I don't want this, don't use my data here. This is how I want my solution to be. So we need to be involved as a community and not just allow a big company somewhere or professionals in the room somewhere or some few engineers somewhere to build some algorithms. We need to understand how they're being built, how are they making decisions, so that at the end of it, we have an AI that's good for everyone.
Right. Firstly, I'm gonna thank the organizers of this event. They did such an awesome job. Secondly, I'm gonna thank you guys for showing up. Said that is the first step. Don't let it be the last. This is a technology that is evolving super fast. Literally every day you're waking up to headlines, shocking and super disruptive. So for connect yourselves with Africa Metaverse Club. They have educational content for free, and I believe the best sort of security is to enlighten yourself, right? When we talk about the risks in the metaverse, they're the same sort of scams that you'd experience in Web2 and through the traditional internet. When someone sends you a link for you to put your password, we all know, right? And it's the same route that it's taking in Web3. So if you educate yourself on the fundamental practices on how to stay safe on the internet, you will thrive and survive. More so, I don't want you guys to limit yourselves. I'm looking at the room. It's a room potentially of youth. This is the future, and it's for you guys to bring it to this nation, or for you guys to utilize your skill sets and make something out of yourselves. Because the traditional route is slowly fading away. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. And also ask you to please follow Metaverse AI on all the social media. Just to give a shout out to our sponsors who have also made this possible. And most importantly is I want everyone to understand that these technologies that are coming in and they want to come in, they do not come to take away our lives or what we do or what we have on table. It simply came to improve our lives and so that you can be limitless. Yeah. So at this point, I close the panel and invite our MC, but first, let's have a picture here. Thank you so much.
Everybody take a photo of them and hashtag Africa Metaverse 2023, and you have just the next bounty. So take a photo of them on stage and hashtag on Twitter. We're giving not much in explain very soon. Not a bad answer. That looks like a number. They will be a bounty.